Welcome, guys, to this edition of Hothand TV. Um, Today, this is just a podcast. It's gonna be me, no guests. Had to reflect on a few things, and I want to share with you guys. Um, so today we're going to be talking about like my favorite shooters of all time. The guys who I feel have the most effective jump shots and maybe what I like about them, the features, and maybe the elements that I prefer from certain jump shooters. So, disclaimer, if I leave out your favorite player, I'm sorry. Maybe, maybe next time I'll add them or whatever. But if I miss anyone, please forgive me. This is my, I say this is my list first and foremost. These are the players who I find to be the most who I found to be most effective for me in terms of learning how to shoot, because I think that's what I base my list upon, and which players were the ones that gave me the most nuggets, concepts, skill sets that I could apply to my own game. So let's get into it, guys. So the first one. Now, I don't think I'll have any order, but maybe I'll just list the players and then say why I like them. But not in any order. So let's start with, for me, this is going to be very controversial. If you ask me, the best shooter of all time is not Steph Curry. I find Steph Curry is the best three-point shooter. Yes, maybe in most shooting situations, it's probably the best. I mean, the stats say it for themselves. But for me, the best shooter is, obviously, there are two players here. It's Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. The reason I say this is because it's from a mechanics standpoint. If you look at, I'll focus on Kobe. So if you look at Kobe Bryant's shot, the mechanics are so simple and adaptable to many shooting situations that they allowed him to execute different kinds of shots. Shots that even Steph Curry cannot execute, maybe because of the change in game, whatever, but there are certain things in Steph Curry's shooting form that cannot be achieved, but they can be achieved in Kobe's shooting form. So the reason why I find Kobe's shot to be my favorite jump shot of all time is because of the versatility that it brings with the ability to create all sorts of jump shots and add all levels of footwork to that. So let's give a simple example. The 1-2 pull-up. So let's not get to the pull-up first, but let's look at the fundamentals of Kobe Bryant's shot, right? Kobe Bryant's shot, even Michael Jordan's shot, he copied it. He copied from him. He copied it exactly from him anyway. So what it does is he raises the ball and then swings at the elbow towards the basket. That simple mechanic is the foundation of Kobe's shot in the hands. So it's the raising of the ball above the head and then the movement of the elbow towards the basket. So what you're seeing him is raising and pushing the ball towards the basket. Kobe has such a high release that it kind of negatively impacts his three-point shooting, but for many shooting situations, the simple mechanics of Kobe Bryant's shot are very effective. And for me, I found myself watching more Kobe clips than any other players because I could see, okay, the reason Kobe Bryant made this shot is because he was able to raise it high enough and then deliver it to the basket. And you see his body positions to say, okay, in an open jumper, he's jumping up straight and then delivering it to the basket. In fadeaways, he was still doing the same things. He was just changing the angle, the lean angle of his body, which is very difficult, but in concept, you're just changing your lean angle and then delivering the ball to the basket. And I'll say with Kobe Bryant's shot, it's one of the most effective jump shots that has been seen within the NBA. And I find myself going back to it over and over. And I find myself learning more from it than any other player. Obviously, you can tell I have a bias on Kobe, but this bias is very justified because watching many kinds of players, you start to wonder how they execute. And with Kobe, nothing was ambiguous, or there was no hidden. There's nothing hidden with his game because he practiced so much. It was so obvious. Like, okay, the reason this works is because he's executing it in X, Y, Z. And his jump shot is also the foundation of his floater. So what Kobe does on his floaters, he steps on 2 feet or 1 foot, whatever he's using, and raises the ball and delivers it to the basket. Similar to his jump shot, his consistent mechanics become the foundation for his jump shot, you know. So when it comes to learning how to shoot, I'd say Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan are the best source of mechanics. I wouldn't say Michael Jordan is a bit tough because he's very athletic. He has a very huge hand. But when it comes to the fundamentals of what it takes to deliver a ball or a basket and the versatility of using the versatility of using those skills in multiple situations, I think watching those two would not be a waste of time at all. I think it's the best thing you can do for your game. Because let's say, if you're a forward, or a five, or a center, or a tall guy, and you're trying to shoot the ball, you're more likely to get into those higher release points that Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan had, and then to get it into a lower release point like Steph Curry. So even as a short player myself, if I want to dominate in the mid-range, hitting a pull-up jumper, I'm better off using those simple mechanics, those versatile mechanics, compared to what maybe other players would be using. So yeah, so it's Kobe and Michael Jordan, I'd say they have the best foundation of what it means to have a jump shot, an effective jump shot. And yeah, man, I think that I had to get that one out of the way. Now let's get into some real jump shooters. All right, I'd say one of my other favorite shooters. So I have Kobe and Michael Jordan as the most reliable source for basketball shooting, right? That's my list. Those are the most reliable jump shooters, in my opinion. If you want to learn how to shoot, you go watch the game, you'll learn. I'd say another favorite player of mine is I'll say Steve Nash, right? So Steve Nash is a very unique player because what I like about Steve Nash is not necessarily, okay, maybe the mechanics are probably the most solid of any other player. Maybe I'd put him second to, I'd say there's, in terms of jump shot mechanics themselves, the way the body moves, I'd say there's Steph, Klay, and then there's Steve Nash. Steve Nash's body positions are so perfect that he was one of the most accurate shooters of all time. 50, 40, 90, for those who don't understand basketball, 50, 40, 90 is a very rare group of shooters who are able to shoot 50% from the mid-range, or let's just say the average shooting space, and then 40% from three-point space, which is long distance, 90% from the free throw line, which is the open shot, which is given to you when you get fouled. So essentially, these people are elite shooters. They are automatic. You give them 5 shots, they make 4. You give them 10 shots, they make 6, which gives you, a very tough time when you're playing on offense. But what I like about Steve Nash, outside of the mechanics, okay, the mechanics, I have to speak on that. He has the best mechanics of any small guard that I know of. If you're small and like myself and you want to learn how to create that power with the shot. I mean, watching Steve Nash and how he gets to those shots is something that needs to be seen. His 1-2 pull-up is probably one of the best for a small guard. And the ability for him he plays so low that he can get to that pull-up very quickly. But Steve Nash, maybe most people, or even himself, kind of give himself some criticism that he did not shoot enough. You know, he should have had many threes. He's not in the top 30 three-point shooters. He's like number 35. I know, right? So number 35, I think 35, 40, somewhere there. But his biggest skill, I'd say, in terms of shooting is timeliness. You know, I'd say if you watch the games against maybe the Suns, maybe in the 20s, the 2000s, Steve Nash was not taking shots throughout the duration of the quarter. He was reserving special periods of the quarter within which he could take those jump shots, and they were so open to him, and he was catching the defenses off guard. So what Steve Nash gives you is ability of shot selection, you know, when to shoot the shot and when not to shoot it. So let's say for 8 minutes he's giving the ball to his teammates, and then the last 2 minutes of the quarter he's then not hunting for an opportunity but exploiting the spaces that the defense has created. For example, he runs a pick and roll maybe 4 or 5 times, dishes it to his shooters, and everybody will expect him not to shoot the ball, and they'll just leave him with open spaces. So there were times when he would hit maybe 4 in a row at the end of the quarter. So he hits 4 threes, maybe 2 threes, and 2 mid-range jumpers. And if your game is tight, you know that's enough to close a game. And I think that's something that's very rare and very hard. That's not spoken about a lot in the ability to shoot, when shot selection is also part of the skill of shooting. And I feel like Steve Nash excelled at that. And the percentages speak for themselves, where he's able to shoot at least 50% plus on most of his shots. So yeah, exceptional mechanics, great pull-up, ability to get low. I think he excels at that. That's something that you only get from Steve Nash. I mean, you've seen some of the clips. If you watch some of the clips on YouTube, you see him training KD, Kevin Durant, and other players. Even Steph Curry was trained by Steve Nash because of his ability to get to his spots using his lower body positions, exceptional mechanics. So for me, I find Steve Nash to be a great decision maker in terms of when to shoot and when not to shoot. And I think that's a skill to be commended for. The other shooter that I would like to mention here is, I'll say Kyle Korver. Yeah, Kyle Korver. Well, Kyle Korver, Kyle Korver is, I say Kyle Korver is one of those, what they call like streaky shooters, right? He gets on the streak and he kills you, yeah? So one thing about Kyle Korver is watching his games, he also kind of reminds me of Danny Green a little bit, is the speed of execution. Kyle Korver could execute in very small pockets of space. So he was not very athletic, obviously, but in the spots that were allowed for him to shoot, he was able to execute with speed and consistency, maintaining his mechanics at a very high speed. And the way he did that was because of his wide base. He used to spread his feet wide apart so that when he turns, he gets a lot of balance on the shot, jumps up vertically with those 2 feet planted wide. So that was the source of his balance. And when you watch the games, like the Cavs games from like 2017 when the Warriors were dominating, yes, they lost to the Warriors. Yeah, the game was decided from the beginning. The games were decided from the beginning anyway. But one thing that I noticed was when LeBron wasn't scoring in possessions, the second best scorer would become Kyle Korver. There was a game, I think, I forgot which one it was, but he scored 19 points. That's Kyle Korver. And the kind of shots he was getting were not him dribbling into a shot, but it was him executing in a pocket of space where LeBron gives him a screen or some guy gives him a screen. He comes and curls into a spot, up goes. That's the shot. And he'll do that 3 or 4 times, and that level of execution is very good for players who don't handle much of the ball, who don't even get a majority of the possession. If you're playing with a ball-dominant player like LeBron or someone else, I mean, you have teammates, we all have teammates who are ball-dominant. You have to learn how to find those pockets of space, and that's something you learn from. That's something I found to be great from Kyle Korver, where you execute in pockets of space, where you find that little room and then raise up from there. I think Danny Green was also good at that. Danny Green, the former San Antonio Spurs shooter. Danny Green is a typical 3-and-D kind of player. His game was all 3-pointers, defense, and a bit of drives here and there. He probably had all the skills, but his main focus was 3-pointers and 3-pointers and defense. But the way he executed those 3-pointers were in those spaces. With the Spurs, they tried to make plays for him, but he was shooting in pockets where the ball comes to him, and he only has a split second to make the decision to execute, That typical classic catch and shoot kind of game right there. And mixing with the modern basketball and the ability to decide, okay, if that's the space, then I lift up. So the mechanics that allow these people to shoot those kind of shots are those hops. Like if you are hopping on 2 feet, you have to balance on 2 feet. You can't 1-2 it on those types of shots. You have to like pop off the ground. You catch the ball, hit the ground on 2 feet, raise up on 2 feet. You can't do any Kobe moves like a pull-up with a 1-2, or like Steve Nash with a pull-up. That's not room for a pull-up. That's room for a pop where you execute the footwork as fast as possible, get space for the shot, and then deliver it to the basket. Yeah, man. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to have KD on my list because, I mean, he's kind of in the groups of Michael Jordan and Kobe. The template of the jump shot is the same. It's a versatile shooting form that can be executed in the mid-range, off the dribble. It's the versatility. So you see those guys, let's say the Kobe Bryant kind of shooting mechanics have been adopted by guys like KD, Devin Booker, maybe LeBron James to some extent. You'd say maybe Carmelo as well, but yeah, I'd put them there. I wouldn't give KD his own category as a shooter. He's more of around the skill set of Michael Jordan. If you watch Michael Jordan, Kobe, you pretty much get what you pretty much understand what KD is doing. And let's go to. So I have the Kobe's and Steve Nash. Okay, and then I have Kyle Korver, supported by Danny Green. And then we have Klay Thompson. Yeah, Klay Thompson. So, one thing about Klay Thompson is if you're trying to be any kind of good shooter, mid-range, 3-pointer, Klay Thompson has the perfect shooting mechanics of any player in terms of where the ball needs to be placed, how the ball needs to be delivered, where the arm needs to point. If you want to know how to align your body to the basket, you do yourself a service of watching everything from Klay Thompson. And I can't say enough about Klay Thompson because for the past few years I've been copying his form, and basically him and Steve Nash are the ones that I copy my form from in terms of mechanics, where to put the ball, how to align it to the basket. And I'd say that Klay Thompson combines is one of the purest shooters we've ever seen, because his jump shot does a lot for his game, and the way he executes it is very impressive. And there's no words to express how good he is in terms of how effective those mechanics are. When you put the ball right there above your head, when you deliver it straight to the basket, because everything is straight to the basket. Everything is no wasted motion. Everything is directed towards the target. He's not trying to do any fancy, like, weaving the ball to the side like Lonzo Ball, trying to push it over. He's not trying to get leverage off any anything that's outside the plane of the basket. So if I'm here, he's not trying to get leverage from here. If he's here, he's trying to get leverage from where the most precise location. So that's what I like about Klay Thompson. Very effective. I watch a lot of Klay Thompson slow motion videos because I want to know where I'm placing my hand, how I'm lifting, how I'm delivering the ball to the basket. And yeah, I mean, there's a reason why he's still one of the best shooters. And on that same note, people with perfect mechanics, I would say him and Ray Allen are kind of similar in that regard, where with every shot, they're trying to get to their points, and execute perfectly. Ray Allen had that shot where it comes from the dipping from the knee, hits the top of the forehead, and delivers. Every time. He never misses. He's hitting the top of the knee, forehead, delivers. And that's why I feel like Ray Allen is a counterpart to Klay Thompson. He's like Klay Thompson before Klay came into the league. And if you watch the games, they're kind of similar as well, where they dominate off the catch. But I'd say Ray Allen has more of a slashing game, meaning attacking the basket. He can slash to the basket. He can hit when he got older, he used to hit floaters. I remember watching some highlights from his career high. I think it was 51 points. Very good watch, man. He used floaters, three-pointers. And the most impressive things about these guys, especially like Klay Thompson, he was shooting threes at the time when people didn't find him to be the most effective shot. And they were trying to, let's just say, rise above the norm, let's just say. So I think with Klay Thompson, I think that's it, man. Perfect mechanics, copy and paste, man. If you can't do anything with your shot, just copy and paste Klay Thompson. All right, now the obvious. Let's get to the one and only, Steph Curry. Steph Curry is a pretty unique shooter because I don't think his shot is, the mechanics are perfect, but when I listen to what his trainer says, Brandon Payne, it's the work outside the shot that does a lot of work for Steph Curry. What his trainer did was they improved his athleticism, which then improved his ability to find shots in the game, not only in the game, but ability to even execute his mechanics. So Brandon Payne says the best way to make better shooters is by making them more athletic. And as the years went by, Steph Curry became more athletic, and you could see his shooting form change. I remember in 2013, when I watched Steph Curry, his shooting form was a bit more, let's just say it was more human, you could see his points, hitting his points. He has it on the stomach somewhere here, raises it up, delivers. Like, okay, all right, good shot. I can see the mechanics. All right, I see how you. So as he got more training, he was able to hit points of leverage, not because he was more skilled, but because he became more athletic. He became stronger. So his shot could move a lot faster. His shot could move a lot smoother. He could shoot as if he's just tossing the ball in the air. His mechanics almost became effortless because he became a better athlete. So Steph Curry is become a better athlete, and your shot improves because now you're able to use your body in different ways. So now we see Steph Curry can hit shots while falling down. He can hit shots from way far, man. Unlimited range. So Steph Curry is a product of all those things: weightlifting, cardio, listening to your trainer, working on your mechanics, overloading the skills. So you see Steph Curry dribbling 2 balls, and those are the product of Steph Curry is a combination of talent, and training. He's one of the most well-trained shooters of all time. Actually, he's the best. He's the most. I mean, of all shooters, he's the one who trained the most. He's the one who has explored the skill of shooting to the highest degree. So, yeah, maybe he might have had like a ceiling of being an all-star when he started out the league. Like, okay, maybe Steph Curry is coming into the league, not athletic. He will only become an all-star maybe 1 or 2 years, but because of the training, it took his talent from just a maybe, let's say his training took him from a 7 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. And that's really inspiring for me, because now you see, when I go to train my shot, I start asking myself, now I'm failing to hit the three-pointer. Could it be my hand strength? I might have the idea of shooting the ball, but maybe I don't have the strength to shoot it. Or I might be able to shoot the first 3 shots, but maybe my legs cannot take the pounding. Maybe I need more squats and deadlifts. So what you learn from Steph Curry is the commitment to training, commitment to preparation. Because with Steph Curry, he prepares for more than the pressure of the game, you know. So to the point that, you know, I'd say he's on a level that we've never seen any other player who shoots the basketball play on, because now he's combined several skill sets to create this monstrous player. So I'd say key takeaways from Steph Curry is that you cannot only rely on talent or just knowledge, that's the mechanics. You have to combine it with the athletic skills, man. So let's say you're a basketball player and also have the knowledge of football. You do yourself a service of continuing to play football, because now you're transferring those skills from football into the sport. Would be the same thing with weightlifting. You're transferring the advantages of getting stronger to the court. As we saw with Steph Curry, his shots become smoother because now he's able to lift the ball with ease. So I'd say that, you know, just to finish, is the reason why Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time is because he was determined to go the extra mile beyond what was required of him. He is, in a way, is like Kobe and maybe Michael, but they never received the kind of training that Steph Curry received now. They never enjoyed the kinds of trainers that Steph Curry received now. Maybe they were there, but the concepts that are being shared now about shooting, they never got to experience them. That's why Steph Curry is so successful, and I always pay attention to what he's doing and what he's not doing. And I try not to copy Steph Curry's motions exactly, because I understand what it took to get there, why he's able to release so quickly. Not because I feel out of place failing to release quickly. Maybe I'm not strong. I come to terms with my own weaknesses when I compare myself to Steph Curry. I cannot shoot as well as Steph Curry, but I can try to get closer. With that knowledge, I try not to abuse my confidence by saying, all right, let me just try to make things move faster. I always feel like that will lead you down the wrong path, getting you to positions that you're not used to. You know, you start trying to overcompensate for your bad mechanics. Don't try to shoot like Steph Curry, otherwise you start compensating for your bad mechanics. Rather refine your mechanics and then try to attempt, you know, to reach whatever Steph Curry was trying to get. On that note, guys, I'm out.